going to, quote, disappear. But today, the U.S. marks another single-day high in new cases. Over 50,000 Americans tested positive in one day. New data shows in at least 45 states the rate of infection is higher than it was just a week ago and still growing. In hotspots, hospitals are nearing capacity while workers are being sent home just weeks after coming back to their jobs. Restaurants are now grappling with how to comply with Governor Newsom's new order to close all indoor dining. Local owners tell us they want to be in compliance, of course, but they also want to keep as many employees on staff as possible. Olivia Sandusky joins us live now in Palm Springs with more. Olivia.
Sarah, one way they're trying to do that is through the use of their outdoor patios and space, which you can see they've done here at Elmer's. The owner told me after she heard about the closures, she ran out last night, got these supplies, moved everybody out to their lawn. She says it's one way to hope to keep their restaurant open and their staff on payroll. Customers enjoy lunch on the lawn at Elmer's in Palm Springs, an option the owner hopes will keep her 80 staff members employed after laying a majority off in March.
This was easier to handle because we knew we could at least have some business. I'll probably keep at least 50% of the staff and kind of rotate them.
Do you want lettuce, tomatoes? Over in Palm Desert, Sherman's Deli is facing similar issues. After bringing back some of their 40 furloughed employees, this new closure resulted in 15 more.
That kind of hurt, especially after they had just gone through the testing. They gave me the call and the paperwork. I'm negative, and I said, well, that's great. I'm glad. Stay clean because I can't bring you back now, and that really hurt.
But staffing isn't the only problem owners face. Another challenge includes ordering food and supplies.
Everything here is fresh, so what we'll do is we'll just order small orders from our delivery people. If we have to run out of an item that is not a well-known item, then we will just run out.
And the city of Palm Springs has already approved 16 restaurants to expand into sidewalks, giving them flexibility and helping businesses that don't have outdoor space. But city leaders say this move could still be months away.
Most of the restaurants felt that in the summer, when it's 100 degrees until 9 o'clock at night, that expanding onto the street wasn't ideal right now. So they're thinking about it making sense possibly in the fall.
Now, that sidewalk expansion for Palm Springs, it's only been approved for that city, nowhere else so far. But for the setup you have here at Elmer's, the owner tells me this isn't permanent. Of course, they're going to be putting this up every morning and taking it down every night so they can help out as many customers as possible with this second closure. Reporting live for NBC Palm Springs, I'm Olivia Sandusky.
Thank you, Olivia. The economy added a record 4.8 million jobs in June, bringing the unemployment number to 11%. But with new closures and new people still filing for unemployment every week, will the trend continue? Our Kitty Alvarado spoke with some experts to find out. Kitty.
Well, the experts we spoke with say this number is good, but the speed of the recovery depends on the pandemic and the reaction to it. The June jobs report was better than some expected. The unemployment rate fell to 11.1% after adding 4.8 million jobs. That's the second month in a row of growth after 20 million jobs were lost in April because of the pandemic. Dr. Christopher Thornburg, one of the leading economists in our region, says he expected a good report because most of the numbers are temporary job losses.
You've had way too many people tossing around the word depression, when in no way, shape, or form is what's going on right now.
While some economists say this jobs report doesn't reflect what's happening in real time and unemployment numbers don't include those who've stopped looking for work, Thornburg says there's just different ways of measuring the same thing, and one number doesn't tell the story. The number we should be looking at is the nearly 3% permanent job loss, which has doubled since June of last year.
This is a worrisome number. That number is increasing. That's the true long-run damage to the economy. But in terms of looking at this, say, relative to the Great Recession, this number isn't all that high yet.
Joe Wallace, the CEO of the Coachella Valley Economic Partnership, says the recent closures of bars and restaurants put a damper on the momentum.
This was a great jobs report, but it might be a wash by the end of August. And for here, we never have prosperity in the summer.
And the valley's tourist-based economy will take longer to recover.
The projections that the greater Palm Springs Convention Visitors Bureau had some consultants put together. Tourism won't get back to where it was for 5 years, maybe longer.
And Thornburg says the overall economy will recover faster because unlike the Great Recession, the fundamentals of our economy are strong. I'm Kitty Alvarado.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Then all LA County beaches are closed this holiday weekend because of COVID-19 concerns. And now, so were all Orange County beaches, including Seal Beach, Huntington, Laguna, and Newport. In Newport, 2 lifeguards tested positive for COVID-19 and 23 others now have to be quarantined. Officials say it was too much to ask the lifeguards to do more with less this weekend, especially because of how busy it's going to be. They normally expect about tens of thousands of visitors. But from Monterey to Manhattan Beach, people are upset with these closures.
I think it's crap. The masks aren't helping. I mean, people staying home aren't helping. So I don't think just telling people they're going to stay home for 4th of July, you know, the nation's holiday, that, oh yeah, that's going to stop everything either. So
I mean, I don't want to swear too loudly, but I want to go to the beach. It sucks.
Public health experts say this weekend is a critical juncture for California, and it's imperative people stay home and stay safe.
All right, so if we're going to stay home, what's it going to be like? Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett to tell us about that AccuWeather forecast. Mike, going to be a little toasty?
Gino, it's going to be hot. Back to you.
Oh, gee, yeah. That about covers it, doesn't it?
We are going to be hot. We are tracking some high pressure that will build across the region that will warm us up for the 4th of July. Quick note about the beaches as well. There is a high surf advisory in place. There are 2 long period swells that are moving in this weekend. It's going to be about 16 to 18 seconds. That may not mean a whole lot to you, but what that means to a lot of folks is there will be rip currents right along the shoreline there. So in addition to those beach closures, there are going to be some dangers there as well. We'll talk about that more in the full forecast. In the meantime, here's our top story. Temperatures continue to stay slightly below average. Remember, 106, 107 is our norm for this time of year, so to be 101 right now is pretty darn good. And we also got that north-northwesterly breeze early this afternoon, coming in about 12 to 15 miles an hour at the airport. That'll gust up to about 20 to 25 tonight when the sun goes down, and then calm back into single digits around midnight. And 16% humidity isn't telling the whole story, because I have been thirsty all day long today. I probably drank about 8 cups of water, and I've got about 8 more in me tonight as well. Current temperatures across the region: 86 in the Yucca Valley, 72 in Big Bear. Gorgeous up there. We've got some 82s in Idlewild and Anza, 100s in Palm Springs and in Thousand Palms, and 103 in Coachella. Joshua Tree is 86 right now. We've got 100 in Indio and 103 in Coachella. Mecca's rocking 105. And as we zoom that in a little bit more, Indian Wells is 101, along with Rancho Mirage, and Cathedral City sitting at 102. Here comes that heat we were talking about. The next 3 days brought to you by Comfort Air shows us right at average on Friday, but then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday will be above average. In fact, we're going to get above 110. I'll tell you how long it lasts, and we'll take a look at your full forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Mike. The family of a Lake Elsinore man says he got sick and died of COVID-19 after going to a party. He even posted about feeling sick on social media, saying he regretted going to that gathering and was hoping to pull through. Kim Tobin spoke with his family as they're coping with their loss.
The most devastating part about this for the family was how fast it all happened. Their loved one got tested for COVID-19 on a Monday, found out he was positive by a Thursday, and then passed away a few days later on Sunday. That's 51-year-old Tommy Macias doing what he did best, making his family laugh. And now all they have to hold on to are memories.
He was my favorite person to talk to. I knew that I could call him and talk to him about anything, and he would never judge me for anything. He would just listen.
His niece, Danielle Lopez, says he had been quarantined for months, but decided to go to a party in Lake Elsinore with friends a few weeks ago.
He thought he was okay to go out. He regretted that decision, obviously.
He told family that one of the people at the party later tested positive for COVID-19, exposing 13 other people, and then he tested positive as well. He even posted this on his Facebook, saying he was sick, wished he hadn't gone to the party, and hoped he would be able to survive. Just days later, he thought he was having complications with his diabetes, but was rushed to the hospital when he couldn't breathe.
They decided to intubate him. And that was maybe 2. He was maybe intubated for 2 hours before he passed away because they just couldn't get his oxygen levels to where they needed it to be.
The family says not being able to be by his side or say goodbye was the hardest part, and they hope others will take precautions, wear a mask, and stay home as much as possible.
I understand people want to go out. I understand it's summertime and I don't want to be cooped up in my house either, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. If this is not going to go away unless everybody cooperates and does what they need to do.
Kim Tobin, NBC4 News.
The LA County Sheriff's Department in West Hollywood will start fining people for not wearing face coverings. The fines start at $250 and could go up to $5,000 if the same person is caught for a 4th time without a mask. Officials in Monterey County are also saying they will issue fines for non-compliance with mask orders.
Yeah, meanwhile, the city of Palm Springs is issuing one of the strongest orders in the county about face masks. People will now have to wear face covering when outdoors, near businesses, or even when they're working out at the gym. Our Nico Payne joins us now with more. Nico.
As this new order came in yesterday, many started to question, will it be enforced and how? Well, across the state, fines are set to be issued, and here locally, a plea for people to wear their masks correctly. That's a new public service announcement that's going to be blanketing the TV and radio airwaves soon. Governor Newsom debuted the ad saying it's time Californians got serious about wearing masks.
We're walking around, and I would say more than 50% of people in Palm Springs are not wearing masks.
To combat that, Palm Springs issues a new order making it mandatory to wear masks outside, even when hiking or doing other activities.
If you're out on the streets next to a business, you're going to have to wear it.
I find it's the younger people, the age group 30, 40, that are not wearing the mask. They have them in their hand or hanging around their neck. But to wear on sidewalks, it's almost impossible to stay 6 feet sometimes, so you definitely need to have a mask on.
Some think the new order is great, but it doesn't mean anything if it's not enforced.
I do believe that the police should be taking more steps towards our safety. It's not enough that they're just driving down on Palm Canyon Drive. They should be probably walking and giving tickets to the people that they are not wearing any mask.
City leaders agree.
If there's a willful refusal, they will be subject to a citation and a fine, and it could be range anywhere from $250 all the way up to $5,000, depending upon the situation.
City officials also tell me that they are working with all hotels and vacation rentals, posting signs letting visitors know that face coverings are required in Palm Springs. I'm Nico Payne. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Nico. Taking a look at those local numbers, 679 new cases in Riverside County. That is down from yesterday, but yesterday was a shocking 745 new cases. We had set that new record yesterday. 193, though, new cases in the Coachella Valley. 2 new deaths reported in the county, none of them here in the Coachella Valley. Indio's caseload has shot up to 1445. Indio has now surpassed Palm Desert with the most deaths at 31.
Starting to look a little bit like New York did.
That's a nurse in Arizona, one of the new hotspots in the country. Cases are also stacking up in Texas and Florida. In some parts of Texas, there are now wait lists for ventilators. In Miami, there's a mandatory curfew between midnight and 5 a.m. Dr. Anthony Fauci tells the BBC some states may have reopened too soon.
In the United States, even in the most strict lockdown, only about 50% of the country locked down. That allowed the perpetuation of the outbreak that we never did get under very good control.
But states like New Jersey say they're continuing with some reopening efforts. In fact, casinos open their doors today.
In Tuscaloosa, Alabama, officials say some students have been attending COVID-19 parties with the intent of spreading the disease. According to city leaders, party organizers are purposely inviting guests who have tested positive for COVID-19 with the goal of infecting each other for money. Officials say teens put money into a pot, and the first one to get the disease wins the money. Local doctors have linked cases back to these parties, proving they're not just rumors.
Two men accused of murdering a missing Coachella Valley couple pleads not guilty. Manuel Rios of Coachella and Abraham Fragoso Jr. of Indio were arrested last weekend. A third man has also been charged with being an accessory to murder after the fact. Rios and Fragoso are being held without bail. All three have pleaded not guilty.
Coming up after the break, the latest developments on the alleged Russian bounties for U.S. soldiers. Lawmakers were finally briefed in a confidential meeting today. What they're saying tonight.
Maxwell was among Epstein's closest associates and helped him exploit girls who were as young as 14 years old.
A new twist in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Tonight, someone else is in custody months after Epstein's death. What court documents are telling us tonight.
When we're joined later by our viewers here in the West, with infection rates soaring in parts of the country, we'll look at the backlog in testing. Labs under pressure to keep up with demand. Also, the circulation of COVID indoors. We'll look at technologies that could lower the risk when we see you back here for NBC Nightly News.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is accusing President Trump of dereliction of duty. That comes after she was briefed on an alleged Russian bounty program that reportedly paid Taliban forces to target and kill U.S. troops. It's been 6 days since that bombshell report came out, and even as the New York Times is dropping new details, the president is still calling it a hoax.
A longtime friend of accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein is in custody, charged with helping him sexually abuse minors. FBI agents took Ghislaine Maxwell into custody in New Hampshire. She's facing federal charges of conspiracy to entice minors to travel and engage in illegal sex acts. Court documents say she helped Epstein recruit, groom, and abuse young women and girls. Maxwell has denied any wrongdoing. Epstein died by apparent suicide in his jail cell before his trial.
Well, he was the man who was said to have been on TV as long as TV had been on. Veteran newscaster Hugh Downs died today at the age of 99. Now, according to family members, the broadcasting icon died of natural causes at his home in Scottsdale. By the time he retired, Hugh Downs had logged more on-air hours than any person in U.S. television history. Hugh Downs dead at 99. We'll be right back. Yeah, that was in the day when you could seriously...
Welcome back. Gorgeous live look for you, courtesy of our Agua Caliente Casino Cam. Blue skies out there. It's going to be a beautiful sunset tonight. Temperatures still delightfully below average across the Coachella Valley. As we mentioned earlier, that will change as we go into the Independence Day holiday. In fact, it's going to warm up. So you know what? I decided to go out and take a walk around on the webcams. I came up with this live look from Juneau, Alaska. Snow-capped peaks and temperatures riding in the 70s and 80s there this weekend. Still a little bit of melting to take place. Plenty of green there. Just something to make us feel cool because we're about to get hot and stay there for the next little bit. In fact, we're tracking the potential for some monsoonal moisture to start making its way into Southern California as we get into the middle of July. Not anytime in the next week or so, but you can see that already happening in Arizona and New Mexico. That flow coming up from the south has been bringing some showers in places like Phoenix and in towards New Mexico there as well. Looks like it's going to be a bit on the muggy side there over the next few days. And long-term forecast models are suggesting that some of that could start migrating in our direction in mid-July. It's still a ways off. We'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, high pressure builds across the region here, and that's going to warm us up going into the weekend. I mentioned that already. I'll show you the numbers to prove it in a moment. Take a look at watches and warnings. At least we're not Oklahoma City, where they do have heat advisories in place. You take a little humidity and mix it together with that heat there, and they've got a heat index that's riding about 105, 110 through the weekend. Red flag advisories in place in parts of Utah. Some severe weather breaking out across the Dakotas right now, and that's exactly where Mount Rushmore is. That should clear out in time for the 4th of July weekend, but right now it's pretty hit or miss there. Temperatures across North America, a muggy 90 in New York tomorrow, 92 in Miami, 99 in Dallas, 73 in Calgary, hot 93 in Denver as well, 75 in Portland, and looking at 105 in Phoenix. On the West Coast here, we got red flag warnings into Nevada. We've got that air quality alert I was telling you about all week long. Blowing dust along the I-5 corridor is keeping visibility low there. If you do have some travel plans, that's going to be an issue. And then, as I mentioned earlier, high surf advisory in place along the beaches, especially Orange County, could get up to 6 to 8 feet. The big story there will be the rip currents. If you do head there, first of all, know there's going to be a lot of closures, and second of all, it could be dangerous for kids and pets. Here's what we're looking at on Friday. We'll get that flow in the morning, switching around to that northwesterly breeze, and once again, fog will be an issue. This is the 14th day in a row that we are tracking some fog that will be dense, especially along that 215 corridor as we get into Friday morning, 8, 9 o'clock. That'll mix up and out. Already got the winds to switch around to the northwest. That gives us some beautiful ventilation tonight. And temperature's not bad. 103 in Coachella currently, 86 in the Yucca Valley, 72 up in Big Bear, and some low 80s in Idlewild. We'll get ourselves into the low 80s, but it's going to take a while. It'll be about 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll finally break into the 70s, and that's what we'll start off on Friday. Temperatures will warm to where they should be this time of year. 30-year average is 106, 107. That's what we'll get to. Mid-40s for your dew points. Look for 107 in Indio, 97 in Joshua Tree, and 75 up in Big Bear. Comfort Air 7-day forecast shows the 4th of July being hotter than, well, you know, the 4th of July. We'll stay there through Tuesday and then finally cool it down again on Wednesday.
Walmart is transforming 160 of its store parking lots into drive-in movie theaters starting in August. Drive-in theaters have been a safer alternative during the pandemic. The closest Walmart to the Coachella Valley that will be doing drive-ins is Pasadena. Locations and movie titles haven't been announced fully yet. We'll be right back after this.
Hope you can join us on Saturday night, courtesy of our friends at Agua Caliente Resort Casino Spa. They're hosting the Valley's only fireworks show. Of course, it'll be on the 4th. We'll bring it to you live on our sister station, KPSC, so you can enjoy it from the safety and comfort of your home. And if that doesn't work for you, we're going to do it again at 11 o'clock right here on NBC Palm Springs. You're looking live right now as they're setting up the fireworks themselves. We'll have lots more about this coming up in the next couple of days. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock.